if you want to see the schedule, we can.
Asheville back to back.
Yeah, we got those back-to-backs this year with the Big South.
Oh, every team you play is back to
Yeah.
back. Oh, okay.
So if you want to go ahead, you can when you just hold the mic for the show.
Good morning, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the High Point University Athletics Coaches Show. We're happy to be back here at Sweet Old Bills, and we always want to thank Sweet Old Bills for always having us and being a great host of ours. This is the Coaches Show brought to you by Segra each and every month. I'm Kevin McMahon, and we're going to start off with John Michael Wright from the High Point men's basketball team. Let's go ahead and give him a round of applause. Had a full day of class, made some time for us. So, John Michael, let's start with, can you believe we're almost a few days away from the season getting started here?
Oh man, I mean it's a great feeling to be able to play again. You know, with coronavirus when it first started, we didn't know if we would be able to play another season. So just knowing that it's days away, you know, all the preparation we've done, you know, we're just ready to get at it. We're just glad the season is going.
How did it go in the off season for you guys? Working out with all the new protocols, how'd you guys do with all that?
It was pretty rough, you know, because it was just off and on. You know, we'll practice, and then we'll have to take breaks because players would test positive for COVID. So we didn't really get into a rhythm until like maybe 2 weeks ago when we all got back. So it's been pretty rough, but I mean, it's going pretty well though.
And that's kind of been a pattern for everybody. Everyone's kind of had to navigate through this. In the summer, you received a great honor being added to the NABC coalition roster. Tell us a little bit about that and that selection. You're one of the only mid-major guys on the list. There's guys from Kentucky, guys from Duke, guys from Syracuse, you know, and you get to represent High Point on that list. How does that feel?
I mean, it's an honor to be able to represent not only High Point, but a lot of mid-major and low-major schools. When I got selected, I got a call. It was right before I came to school. Actually, Craig Robinson called me and was like, he would like me to be a part of it. So it was a big honor. You know, I told my parents, they were so proud of me, and just to be able to represent college basketball all over the country is just a real honor for me.
And when you are on those calls and doing those things, is that one of your priorities? That, hey, I know that there's schools like me, like mid-majors, I need to represent those. Do you think about that?
Yeah, that is the main priority because I know that's why they chose me, you know, just to be the voice for the mid-major and low-major. So if they'll talk about an issue, I'll make sure I put that in where how does it affect the low-major and mid-major besides the high-major, you know. So that is the main priority for me.
So when we talk about the schedule, we were just talking before we got started, it's back-to-back games in conference. So when you guys go to Asheville, you go for 2 nights. What do you think about that back-to-back style, the series style? What do you think about that?
I like it. It kind of reminds me of AAU back in high school, how we used to have tournaments on the weekends. But I think it'll be good, and it might be difficult at the same time because, like, you get to play the same team back-to-back, so you know what to expect. They know what to expect from you. So it'll be a challenge, but it could be good in both ways. It just depends.
And let's dive more into that concept of playing the next day. How quick is that turnaround going to be? I mean, is it going to be a lot of film? Is it going to be just trying to make sure you're rested again? Like, what's going to be your priority as a player?
For a player, I mean, I just make sure, like, right after the game is over, I get my body treated, right, get ready for the next game, the next day. But I honestly don't know too much about the protocol because, you know, we've never done it.
Right.
So we'll just have to wait and see after the first meet-up against UNC Asheville.
So November 25th will be the first game of the season. Just a few days away. We're a couple weeks out here, and it'll be at Davidson. Can you believe that, you know, with all the hoops everyone had to jump through, it looks like we're getting pretty close. We actually might be able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's, like I said, it's a great feeling to be able to play again. You know, Davidson is a good team. You know, I feel like we got a great team this year at High Point University. And, you know, it's just, we're ready to get at it and test ourselves against another team in college basketball.
What are some things you're looking forward to from this season? You were a freshman last year. You kind of had to grow up pretty quick. You got asked a lot of you. What are you looking forward to this year, now knowing what you do from last year?
For myself, just to be a better leader for my team, you know, not just like scoring, you know, getting more assists, rebounds, all that, just getting everybody involved so we can all grow together as a team. You know, but individually, just to pick up where I left off from last year, you know, better my numbers, you know, just to do what I can to help us win the best way.
Talk to me about some of the new guys on your team. There's freshmen. We have a transfer from Livingstone and Rydell. Tell me a little bit about those guys.
Well, Rydell Elmore, the transfer, he a very athletic guy. You know, he's a gym rat. You know, every time I go in the gym, he's in there. You know, after practice, he's in there shooting free throws for 30 minutes. You know, so he's a guy that knows about the college system. You know, he'll be ready to play right away, I believe. And we got some good athletic freshmen, and Jaden House, Zach, Austin, Emil, Flowers. You know, they're all athletes. You know, they love to play defense. You know, they're competitive. And I feel like they'll be key for us in the season.
And if anybody has any questions for John Michael Wright or anybody here, raise your hand. We'll get over to you and let you ask your question. But who's your least favorite guy to defend against in practice?
Least favorite guy, I normally don't get switched up on him, but if I have to go out, Emmanuel, he's an eye boy. You know, he got a lot of elbows, strong elbows on him, so I don't want to get hit with none of those. So he's really my least, you know, if I have to guard him in the post. But that's about it, yeah, man.
You came into the season receiving the Big South preseason All-Second Team honor. What can you say about that?
I'm thankful for it. You know, it's a blessing to be recognized by the Big South. We just can't focus on it too much because, you know, the season's coming up. Just got to do what I can to honor that they gave me, or even better, that honor. You know, so I can't really focus on it too much.
Well, I think you've been great. Does anybody have any questions for John Michael right here? So we're trying to get back into it. But I think you've been great. Thanks for stopping by. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, guys.
So next we're going to have Coach Tubby Smith here with us. Good job, John. Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon.
Before we get started, Coach, you were making some deliveries last week with the jerseys, with the gifts here. And we have a special delivery we want to make to Bill Hurd.
Bill.
So,
Okay.
the Sweet Old Bill's owner, a great host of ours, so Tubby wants to give you that.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
No, thank you.
Hold it up so you hold it up.
It's like Christmas time. Can't even. I usually have a pocket.
Well, we appreciate you hosting this here.
Well,
Radio
we
show.
love it.
Hold up so we take a picture of that.
Oh, look at this.
All right.
We're going to have to put this in a shadow box, or I'm going to have to drop a few pounds. Number one.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Glad to have y'all back.
Good to be
Most
back.
definitely.
That's how you start, right? That's a pretty good start.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and to bring it here personally with us, I guess the department that really put this. Who came up with this idea? It was a great idea. I got to thank you all, especially Dan Hauser. Great job, Dan. Good. Only problem is I had to go all over the city to deliver them last week. And there was about two or three people that weren't home. I was really concerned about walking to their door with Growler. Was it Growler? Prowler. Yeah, it was a little scary. So anybody here, a door that we walked up to and received one?
I don't see anybody here that you got.
Okay. All right, Bill. That jersey should. Make sure we put it in a shadow box, okay?
I think that's what I'll make a spot.
Well, everybody that received one has to come over and play pickup against our team.
I'll send my children.
Okay, good, okay. All right.
All right, Coach, thanks for coming. We'll start with, I know there's been a lot of hoops we've all had to jump through with all this, COVID going on, but we're a few days away. It feels like we're going to get close and actually going to get to play some basketball.
Well, I hope so. it's been a challenge for everyone, not just athletically, but, for economically. I've been really, certainly the university, Dr. Courbain and his staff, they've done an unbelievable job of keeping us going, especially the campus. You still see students around. Our players still have their housing. They're not doing virtual learning. Everybody's in-person learning. So that's a real plus, because there's not a lot of schools doing that right now around the country. So I've got to compliment the university for what they're doing there. Certainly in athletics, we've had our share of cases with our players and with a couple of managers, but they've all bounced back, and hopefully we can stay healthy so we can get this game in against Davidson. I think that's what everybody's concerned about. You can see around the country where there are a number of coaches. I saw where Jim Boeheim, the great coach from Syracuse, he contracted it. Tom Izzo, another Hall of Fame coach from Michigan State. And, you saw where, who was it, Nick Saban and a couple other. So this virus is running rampant. I just hope we can get the season in and get a game in. Because we've had to cancel, I guess, 5 games already. When you think about it, we would have played on November 10th. That was supposed to be our first game against Davidson. But we were lucky that Davidson had, unfortunately, they were able to reschedule that game for the 25th at Davidson. So it'll be a real challenge. But we're missing, the games against Southern Cal, Connecticut. Man, those were tough games to play. But then we were going to host the Legends Classic here with Monmouth, Liberty, and Eastern Washington. We're going to be 3 teams that were here at Miller Center. So, but we're still going to be playing Elon and Greensboro and North Florida. We had to cancel the Florida Atlantic game, but East Carolina on the road, William and Mary. So we have a very competitive schedule. But I'm impressed with how our kids have been working and how excited they are about the season.
And I have some more questions about scheduling I want to get to you in a second. But you've been doing some interviews about the season, and you kept bringing up, how well you do in your 3rd year when you're at places. And you're heading into your 3rd year this year. But I looked up some of the numbers. Are you ready for some of these?
Yeah.
Okay, so at Tulsa in your 3rd year, you won 23 games, your first 20-game season, made the Sweet 16. At Minnesota in your 3rd year, your wins stayed the same. You made the tournament again, over 20 wins again. At Texas Tech, your 3rd year, you won 19 games, and you made the tournament for the first time since 2006 for the Raiders. So that goes to show the numbers are there. The 3rd year is kind of your year. I know it's been a different offseason, but does that kind of history make you feel good?
Yeah, you saying it out loud does make me feel a lot better. I really, those are things you don't really think about, but we try to build it for for long term. Obviously, when you have to change not necessarily the culture, because we have a pretty good culture here at High Point University. We inherited some good kids, played hard. We ended up with a winning season that first year. Last year was a setback for us, but we had a number of injuries and problems and defections and transfers. So we're really looking forward to having guys like Eric Coleman, and back as players that have gotten some experience. John Michael Wright, who led us in scoring as a freshman last year. Caden Sanchez started. We started 5 players last year that had never started a Division I game. 3 of them had never played college basketball, were freshmen. So this year, we're still going to be relatively young. John Michael Wright is only a sophomore, but he's a very talented player. Eric Coleman is just a sophomore. He started I think he only missed maybe 1 or 2 games last year and did a good job for us. Rob Peterson had surgery. He's a year ahead of those guys, so he's a returning junior, but he started some games last year. So we've got a lot of holes to fill. Bryant Randleman was another freshman who started for us. So we're still going to be relatively young because we signed 4 freshmen. that are probably as talented a group as we've recruited here. I know it's the most talented group we've had here, maybe the best freshman class in a long, long time.
And then let's talk about the experience you're bringing in a guy like Rydell Elmore. Tell me about him.
Well, Rydell is, he played at Livingstone, and it was, it's NAIA basketball. It's not the same as Division I. So, he has a big learning curve because he had played for one coach. Here's a kid that played high school, then spent 3 years there and playing at Livingstone, transferred here. So he's learning how to play the game the right way. I think, but he's very athletic. He'll be the most athletic player we've had around here, I've seen in a long time, to be honest with you. I'm really impressed with him. Can shoot the ball with range, can really run the floor, good hands. He's got to learn to play defense better, like John Michael and the rest of the group. I'm glad he mentioned that's something he had to improve on. Shoot, but we have improved on that. The only problem was we haven't had a lot of practices. We were quarantined for 14 days, so our players missed they missed 14 practices. So that's a lot of practice time.
If Panther fans want to get excited, look up some of the highlights of Rydell last year from the CIAA. It's a talented league. I know it's not D1, but that CIAA league is pretty talented, pretty intense, and he did well. So that's something to get excited about. Does anybody have a question for Coach Smith? Is it your chance? It's been a while since you've seen him. This is your chance.
Maybe you may not see me for another one. With all this that's going on right now, if we can't get this COVID under control, it could be. It's already been a long year, especially since they had to cancel the Final Four. Now, if you may have read the Final Four, all 68 teams will go to Indianapolis this year. No longer 13. There were supposed to be 13 sites where the NCAA was played, and the Final Four is worth about $1 billion to the NCAA, and it actually pays for Coach. Dan Hauser can speak to this. There's a lot of money, there's a lot of revenue that's lost from this TV contract with NCAA and men's basketball. That's not to diminish any other sport, but that's just a fact. And so we've got to find a way to play and get this season in. And so there are a lot of protocols, a lot of things are being instituted as far as so we can get games in. For instance, in the Big South, you have to have 7 or 8 players. We're going to play back-to-back games. For instance, our first back-to-back game will be against UNC Asheville on December 11th, 12th. We were going to play only 18 games. Now we're playing 20. You only have to play 13 Division I games to be eligible for the NCAA tournament. And the Big South is probably a one bid league for the Final Four for the NCAA tournament. So we've got to try to position ourselves and keep everybody healthy so we can make it to the conference tournament, win the conference tournament championship, because that's the only way you're going to get into the NCAA tournament. And that's what I'm excited about. I believe we have the talent to do it. Again, we got to keep everybody healthy, and we've got to play. We got to have a chance to play basketball. So everybody's doing all they can around the country, especially NCAA. I'm on an ad hoc committee, and we talk about all the things we can do to make sure that we impress upon our players, because they're the ones that are going to have to make sure that they. And it's tough. Social distancing, wearing a mask. My hat's off to them. I got so much respect for our student athletes today, and what they have to deal with is just remarkable. Yes, sir, we have a question back there.
What's going to be the format of conference championships? Is there going to be something for conference?
The question's about the format of conference championships. They'll play the back-to-back games during the season, but what's the format for conference championships?
Well, we're still waiting to see whether we will take all 11 teams to the tournament. I don't know if that's been decided yet, man, so it's still up in the air. But they have an awaited schedule. For instance, we may not be able to get in. Somebody may not be able to get in all 20 games. Some teams, for instance, if we're playing Asheville and somebody's contracted COVID and they can't play, so we lose that game. So suppose we played 12 games in the league and somebody else has played 18. You've got to weight those, there's an index or there's a formula in place now that the Big South has instituted, and everybody around the country, all conferences have instituted to determine the seedings in your tournament and who will actually have an opportunity to play for the championship. So it's being talked about. Yeah, it's a lot of things up there. It's, this whole our whole environment right now is all about the changes that are taking place even today. I'm sure there's I guess our governor is making an announcement today probably about where we're going with this COVID and where we're going with whether we're maintaining, phase 3 we're in or whatever. So.
Good question. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a good question.
One more question on that. You've made mention of it in your other interviews as well, but this is the first time you've kind of had to deal with the back-to-back game scenario.
Yeah.
You'll play one game on a Friday night, let's say, and then Saturday the next day you guys play again the exact same team.
Right.
What kind of obstacles is that going to throw the coaching staff's way?
I don't know. It's just making sure we have players available. It's probably going to be certainly it's feasible financially that we do that. The key is officiating. Will you have 2 officials or 3 officials? Because they're in the mix. There's so many things that are in play as far as whether you can play the game or not. And I think the most important thing is having healthy players. For instance, those 7 or 8 players that you have, they have to be scholarship players. We actually have 5 or 6 walk-on players on our team right now. So, so for instance, if we only had 8 guys and only 4 of them were scholarship players, we'd actually have to forfeit the game. So those are the things we're having to have to deal with. And then just being able to play. I'm sorry, what was your question?
You nailed it. You got it. So we're all very excited about the season coming. We've made it through a lot, so we're excited that it's almost here. Last question for you, a very important question. Why should people listen to the Tubby Smith Show, your new podcast? Why should people listen to that?
The podcast?
Yeah.
Well, we've got some great entertainers, some great coaches, and some good people. We've had Rick Barnes, who's a native of North Carolina, from Lenore, North Carolina. We played college ball against each other. I always tell him, he always says, I played against Coach Smith, Tubby Smith. I said, no, you watch me play from the bench. But he's a great guy. He's at Tennessee now. He's on the podcast, got a lot of things great, and done a fantastic job everywhere he's been, at Texas, at Providence. Now he's doing an outstanding job at the University of Tennessee.
The Bobby Cremins
The
episode.
Bobby Cremins episode. Dave Odom, another local young man, another local coach who coached at Wake Forest and played for Coach Jerry Steele. Certainly our blessings and thoughts with Coach Steele. He had major surgery and he's doing better. So I know Kitty, we're staying in touch with her a lot. So, but make sure because we want to. But there's a lot of things going on. Stories behind the scene, that these coaches talk about, and we have a good time with it. We also had We had Paul Westhead just recently. Paul Westhead, the great coach from Loyola, won an NBA championship with the Lakers. He won a WNBA championship with the Phoenix Mercury. So he talks about his fast break offense, and so we've had some outstanding people on the podcast. It's worth listening to.
So very fun, Coach. Thanks for taking the time. We're excited for the Panthers to get back on the court. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, I wish we could spend a little more time with you, but I'm on a lot of these committees. I'm going to go back now and get on a conference call with the NCAA again, the foundation board. So there are a lot of things that I don't think I've ever been on more Zoom calls and more conference calls ever. But that's the way business is going to have to be done now and in the near future as well. And look, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, have a happy holiday season, have a great Thanksgiving, be careful, don't eat too much turkey. Right. Thank you all.
Thanks,
See you
Coach.
later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so once again, thanks to Coach Smith for coming and John Michael Wright. Here's your menu here. All right, now we're going to have Skylar Curran join us, the Big South preseason player of the year. We need a big applause. That's right. Feel free to grab it, and we can.
Can I take it off?
Yeah, we'll just chat, me and you. First of all, thanks for coming. Big South preseason player of the year. Are you fired up about it?
Yeah, it's definitely exciting. I hadn't really thought about it at all. I kind of forgot that they even did like the preseason picks and stuff. But I mean, it's definitely exciting.
What does that mean to you? I know it's kind of the same question, but I know you don't really worry about it. You know, you want to play, but it's gonna be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot. It means that all the work that I've put in has paid off in the past year. It means that everyone's kind of watching me in a sense, and so it feels good to get recognized. But I mean, like you said, I'm not too worried about it. I just want to win basketball games.
You talked about it during Big South Media Day, and I want to approach it again, but you talked about Coach Banbury and her system and how it's different than the system you were running when you first got to High Point, and it's very effective but a little complicated the first time you see it. How excited were you coming this summer knowing that you had a second year in it? You didn't have to learn it all over again.
It's really exciting, and you can tell that everyone is a little bit more excited about it because we all know it. And so it's a lot more fun, even like in practice, playing against each other. Like the fact that we all know kind of what we're doing, it makes it a lot more fun to see how everything works. Because even like we know what everyone's running, and it's so hard to guard. So it's fun to see it effective against ourselves, and then kind of realize that it can be super effective against other teams too.
With you knowing the system, you and some other girls kind of being in it and being kind of those veterans in the system, do you think that made it easier for the freshmen because they had someone they can ask questions about, like, where am I supposed to be? If they missed something, it was a little bit easier because, like, last year, you guys didn't really have anybody you could ask, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot easier for them. I think seeing it too helped them a lot because, like, when we were trying to all learn it last year, we couldn't really see exactly what we were supposed to be doing. Like, we watched film and stuff, but the freshmen coming in definitely probably caught on a lot quicker than we did last year.
What's your favorite part about playing for Coach Banbury in a system like this?
It's just basketball, you know? Like, we do have sets that we run and things like that, but at the end of the day, it's just, like, you're just playing basketball. So it's not really any set stuff that, like, you could watch film on and guard it or, like, a certain way, because there's always going to be something different that you can do. So it's just fun. It's kind of like, there's a lot of freedom in it. So that makes it a lot of fun to run.
Last year, we don't have to spend a lot of time on this, but last year the season ended, had to be ended before the tournament started. Mm-hmm. Obviously, a horrible way to have the season end. But what are your feelings about last season, and how does that turn into how you feel about this year?
I was really excited how we were playing at the end of last season. Like going into the tournament, we felt really good. So it was tough that we got that taken from us, but there's a lot of us are back too, almost all of us. So I think having it ended early, we're kind of have this like little bit of an extra drive, like that we wanted to prove something last year, and so we still want to do that this year.
How would you describe the way you guys were playing last year, right at the end? Because they all, in all sports, right? That's about everyone talks about peaking at the right time, right? That's about peaking at the right time. You guys were peaking right at the right time. I mean, how did it feel? Did it feel like everything was just clicking for you guys? Everything was going in?
Yeah, it just felt like everyone was on the same page. Everyone could tell. Like, it's almost like we were all insinuating each other's next moves, and that makes it really easy to play basketball when you can do that.
If anybody has any questions, you're doing a great job, but if anybody has, it's just got to deal with me. But if anybody has any questions for Skylar here, we will go out to you and let you do those as well. But your guys' schedule in the conference will be similar to the men's with the back-to-back games. What are your thoughts on that?
It's going to be tough, I mean, on our bodies especially, but whatever we have to do to be able to play. You know, we all just want to be able to have our season and play basketball. So if this is what's going to get us through the season, then I'm perfectly fine with it.
You're ready, rain or shine. You're going to get out there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Who are some newcomers that we should know about? Who are some newcomers that have been impressing you in practice?
All three of our freshmen, we have Leimani, Tegan, and Claire. They're all catching on a lot quicker, like we said, than we did last year, and so that's fun to see. And it's just fun to watch them, like, it's almost like you can see things click some days. And so when that happens, it's fun to be on the floor with all of them. I think they're all going to contribute well, and I'm excited to see them. Like I said, I'm excited to see all of us against like another team. Like obviously we play against each other in practice, and we get that done. But I'm excited to see how everything goes against competition.
With all the protocols in place and not as much is going on just in the world, how have you guys been able to kind of like make sure all your teammates everyone's good and kind of staying around? How have you guys kind of been able to bond this year at a different time?
I mean, we all get tested every week. So, and like on campus, it's kind of the same. Like we get to go to Prime still and do things like that. But I mean, it is a little bit different, you know. Like I don't know, just everything being kind of shut down for a while, and it's just like we don't really know what to do. So we still get to hang out with each other in our rooms and around campus, but it's different for sure.
Yeah. My last question for you, and I've kind of asked it again, but I want to end on it. What are you most excited about for this year? I know it's been a while since we've been able to go. It looks like we're going to get really close. And what are you most excited about when it comes to starting the year?
I'm just excited to compete. You know, we work really hard every day, and we have been since the summer essentially. And so I'm just excited to get out there and play other basketball teams. It's fun to play against each other, like it always is, like scrimmages and pick up and practice. But I'm just excited to get out there and actually play.
Well, Skylar, thanks for coming. Anybody have any questions?
Thank you.
All right, Skylar, thank you so much. You were great, and good luck this season with Chelsea play. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I've run out of steam there.
No, you're good.
All right, we're going to have Coach Chelsea Banbury, the head coach of the High Point Women's Basketball team, join us now. We need a big round of applause here. There we go. Thank you.
Should I pick it up?
Yeah, you can pick it up.
All right.
Take it out. What's up, Coach? How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Good to see you again. Good to be back. A little bit different, but we're back.
Yeah.
Let's get started and talk about, I don't want, we kind of it's been a different off season, but how excited are you to finally be back and we have a date and it looks like we're going to be able to play some basketball here?
I mean, I think Sky kind of hit on it. We're just excited to compete. We're grateful to be in the situation that we're even talking about games. We all saw fall sports and everything get their seasons canceled and hear that they have to wait. So at this point, we're excited that, there's light at the end of the tunnel. A week and a half, we're playing a game. So we're excited. We get to compete and we get to show the progress that we've made in the off season.
Can we hit on some of the teams you guys are going to be playing this year?
Sure can.
Okay, so you guys are going to open with Carolina.
Yes.
And to go to, with how everything happened, with things getting canceled, games getting moved around, you guys have a pretty impressive non-conference schedule, just those 4 or 5 games. What can you say about the level of competition you guys are still going to be able to play against, even though everything got changed?
We wanted to schedule games that are going to challenge us and then also get ready for conference season because that's really what matters. And so now you only have 4 or 5 games to get you ready and get you playing your best. So we wanted to play games that can get us playing at the higher level and then like playing North Carolina. Ultimately, everybody's goal is to get to the NCAA tournament. And I don't want to be the first time that we see that level of competition to be in the NCAA tournament. So that's the thoughts behind scheduling teams like North Carolina, and then we have other strong mid-majors that will challenge us and make us get better.
'Cause I know you said, you obviously have the goal of making the tournament, but you guys want to compete when you get to the tournament as well.
Yeah, we're not satisfied just getting there. I mean, when you're in athletics, I think you just always want to compete. That's the goal, and that's why you do it. So no matter what game we're going to be in, we're going to give it our best, and hopefully it works out.
I just saw him out of the corner of my eye. We talked about him yesterday, so I want to talk about him real quick. But you told me you had a new golfer join your family this summer.
Yeah, so quarantine brought a lot of golf to our family. Jackson, my 2-year-old, has really picked it up. We got him real clubs for his 2nd birthday, and we will spend hours in the backyard just hitting plastic golf balls. He wants to go putt-putting. He hits hole-in-ones when we go putt-putting, and we got a putting green in our living room. So he, dinosaurs and golf was quarantine for us. It was pretty fun.
It sounds like quite the days you guys had.
It was. I know more dinosaur names now than I ever have, so. And my short game's getting better too, hitting my lob wedge in the backyard, so it's worked out.
Tell us about your 2nd year as a head coach heading in. What are some things that you know now that you wish you knew a year ago?
I wish I knew COVID was coming. That would have been nice, huh? I mean, it's been every year something different, and I mean, the first time being a head coach, there's situations you never really understand that you're going to be in until you're in them, whether it's close games or plays to call or adjustments that need to be made, and then having to break the news to our team at the end of the year last year that we were done. That's not something that I ever could have envisioned. I don't think any of us could have. And then now, just how do you approach an off season in a team sport where your team can't even share equipment? So we play a team sport, and they couldn't even pass to each other until the middle of September. So you have to learn to be creative, and you gotta just make do with what you have. We're lucky enough to be able to have them here this summer and actually work on individual skills. So we took advantage of that, and that's something that I think we all learned is take advantage of the day that you have, because you don't know if you're going to play tomorrow or if you're going to practice, so get better on that day.
So with all the changes and every day we learn something else or something we thought we knew is different, how do you think the team looks? I mean, obviously, I know people would want more time, feel like we don't have enough time, but how do you feel like you're looking every day?
I'm excited. Some days we definitely look better than others. I will say we're ahead of where we were last year, which you would expect since we do have a lot of returners, and everybody kind of understands what we want to do. So it's getting more fun because you can get more complex in with what you want to do and just continue to teach. Because I feel like last year we kind of just touched the surface of things of, like Sky said, we have a lot of freedom. And there is a lot of freedom in how we want to play, and it's kind of getting everybody to recognize their opportunities and different ways that they can score.
Talk to us about some of the newcomers that you had, and then I want to ask about the new class you just signed. It isn't here yet, but let's talk about with who's here first. How have they adapted so far?
They've done well. Our freshmen have come in, and they've been eager to learn at times, and especially this summer, I think they felt like their heads were spinning, but they tried to take it all in. Like when you were coaching or if you're trying to teach them something, they were listening intently. Like they would look at you and they wanted to perfect it. So they've been a lot of fun to coach. And then, like Sky was saying, it has helped that they have a team of returners that know what's going on. So they've seen it, they get to play with them, and while they're playing, our returners are helping them through. So they are catching on pretty quickly.
And when you see that, when you see some of the older girls helping them out and teaching them things about your system, you go, okay, this is exactly what we want. We're right on schedule.
Yeah, it's perfect. My job's so much easier at that point. It's like, oh yeah, you got that.
I'll be back in the office.
I get my water over here. So no, yeah, it's been great. And then it also really shows that they've bought into what we do and how we want to play. So when they start trying to teach the newcomers and say, hey, that's not a shot that we take, or this is what we do in this situation, you have buy-in from your team, and that's what you want as a coach and a staff. So,
talk to me about the two new girls that you guys have signed. You guys are going to be bringing in. I know this is something you guys take a lot of pride in your recruiting. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we signed Shakira Bakersfield we still got the West Forsyth connection going on. I think she played with Sky. Sky, did she play with you a year? Yeah. Shaq played with Sky a year. She played with Callie for a couple of years. So we still have that connection. We're excited about Shaq. She's been able to come to a lot of games. We really have enjoyed getting to know her. And then we have Nakaya Terrell out of Canton, Ohio. So she provides athleticism. She can guard. We're excited about her. She actually played for the same AU team as Cam Brown. So had success there. We're excited.
And are these just coincidental, or are those connections, or is it?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
Coach Kest has strong ties. It's actually the same AU team that Coach Jamie played for too. So
Okay.
we have a couple people that played for that program. So it's strong ties, and then maybe coincidence that we got in on Nakaya late, but we're excited.
How has the energy been at practice? We're looking at limited capacities across everywhere. Are you guys really bringing the heat in practice, or can you expect that from your bench this year? Are you guys really bringing it?
Yeah, they've had some energy at practice. We talk a lot about competing, not just working hard and competing. And there are some days that I think we've had to tell them to calm down. They do get a little going at each other a little bit, so you got to kind of calm them down. But it is fun. We've had some really good practices, and those are the days that you get to go home as a coach, and you're happy. You feel good about where you're at that point. So.
Does anybody have any questions here for Coach Bamber? I'm glad we've been able to be back here at Sweet Old Bills for another coach's show. But I think I've asked my last question. I'm excited for you guys to be back. Is there anything else you think we need to hit? I know we're just ready to play some basketball.
We are ready to play some basketball. We're going to go take down the Tar Heels, hopefully.
Well, let's do one more then. Can we do one more?
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys are going to take on the Tar Heels. What's a key for you guys? What are we going to do to make sure we beat Carolina?
We got to play our game. I think a lot of times, especially teams that don't play teams of that caliber very often, is you go in and you're scared. You're scared to miss a shot, or you're scared to guard somebody. We're going to go in and we're going to do what we do. I think we play pretty good basketball, and when we're all clicking, I think we're a very good team. So we're going to concentrate on us. Yes, we'll have a game plan, but at that point you have to be fearless. You can't be afraid to miss a shot or make a pass, or you can't be afraid of them. So.
Yeah, we got nothing to lose going in there.
That's right.
You got me fired up, Coach. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Chelsea Banbury, buddy. Oh, we got some questions. All right. You were holding out on me.
We don't want to go in, look at watching them play.
Right.
We want them to watch us play.
I like it.
That's right.
Are we going to have the 3-point challenge where we give a dollar?
Yeah. Yeah, I want to.
Question about the 3-point club.
The 3-point club, yeah.
Oh, we got a question over
Bringing it
here.
back.
How do you think it's going to affect girls playing 2 consecutive days against a strong opponent? What are you going to have to do to them to get them motivated and keep their energy level?
The question was about playing back-to-back games.
And I think Sky hit on this. The toughest challenge is going to be saving their bodies that they're able to play the 2 games in a row. So that's where a lot of it is right now, of getting them in condition. Because there's plenty of time. Right now we have 4 hard practices in a row. So our goal and our job as a staff is to make sure that the practices are harder than games, so we can prepare them in that way. And right now when we play, we have 6 players on each team, and they got to play the whole time. So our work happens right now.
Great question. Any other questions here for Coach Banbury? Well, it was a great question about the 3-point club, so stay tuned about that. I know that was a great success for you guys last year. You guys like doing that?
Fun. Yeah, it was fun.
And you guys shoot a lot of threes, and especially at the end of the season, you guys were really rolling.
We did. We finished 3rd in the country and made 3s last year, so I didn't know if I should say that, if people would be afraid to donate at that
maybe
point,
keep
but
that
it's
one.
also exciting too,
Yeah.
right? That's the purpose of it.
It's exciting as a fan, but for your financial advisor, not as exciting.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
So yeah, you'll learn more about that. And we also want to remind you it's Giving Tuesday coming up on December 1st. And I'll tell you about that in a second. But Coach Banbury, thank you so much. That's what we do now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thanks, Coach.
Jackson's good at it too.
So thanks everybody for coming to Sweet Old Bells for the Segra High Point University Athletics Coaches Show. We do want to remind you that High Point Athletics is proud to participate in a global day of giving with High Point Athletics. We're going to challenge all Panther fans to hashtag #GiveTo HBU. Please consider donating to your favorite programs, or you can donate to the Student Athlete Excellence Fund on Tuesday, December 1st. Please check out the highpointpanther.com website for more information. Thanks everybody for coming. Thanks for wearing your mask. We'll see you next time.